Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Allen. This is NBA Weekly, the show where once a week I talk about some of the stuff that's happened last week in the association and some of the stuff I'm looking forward to in the coming week. So let's look at some of my favorite storylines from this week in action. On Saturday, a couple of big things happened. Michael Carter-Williams had another triple-double as the 76ers. They had an 18-point lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. And yet the Grizzlies managed to fight back and win it in overtime. And on that same night, Dwight Howard finally came back to action and he had a double-double, and James Harden also had a triple-double as the Rockets managed to get a commanding win. Then on Sunday, despite Anthony Davis sitting out, the Pelicans almost ended the Warriors' win streak, but Golden State managed to grab a win in overtime. Monday was a fun night as the Bucks and Suns spent the last minute of the game exchanging buckets and the league, and that game really came down to who had the ball last. And then on Tuesday, the Warriors, their 16-game winning streak came to an end at the hand of the Memphis Grizzlies. And then that one went into overtime as well. And then on Wednesday, quite possibly one of the bigger upsets of the young season, the Hawks beat the Cavs by 30 points. It's not even that they won, it was the whole 30 points. Damn. I honestly don't know what happened there because I was too busy watching the Spurs lose to the Grizzlies in triple overtime. In that game, though, my God, I was like watching the finals all over again. Jesus. It was so heartbreaking. Danny Green, though, I just want to point him out because he had 25 points, all of which he scored in the second half of the game, hitting 7 3-pointers. And he also led the team with 5 blocks. You do realize he's a guard, just in case you didn't know that. But get this guy to the All-Star game, seriously. He deserves it. And then on Thursday, DeMarcus Cousins finally returns to action. He's been missing a couple of weeks because of a viral infection. And he had a huge double-double, almost led his team to a win, but they fell 1 point short. And then on Friday, Mike Miller, the veteran, he returned to action, started in the game for the Cavaliers, and he hit 7 of 8 from the field. And every single shot that he took from the field was from beyond the three-point line. So he finished the game with 21 points, helping the Cavs to win. Meanwhile, the Spurs went into triple overtime. Again! This is the first time in my life I can ever remember seeing one team play consecutive triple overtime games. Do you know why it's the first time in my life I've ever seen this? Because it's the first time it's happened in my life. It's been 63 years since the last time one team played consecutive triple overtime games. 63 years. My grandparents weren't even born then. Actually, it might have been like the year they were born. I think that. And so, yeah, the Spurs played 2 triple overtime games, lost both of them. They played 4 overtime games in the month of December, lost all of them. To be fair, though, first of all, they are a little banged up right now. You know, Parker and Kawhi missed this game. You know, and plus, more than anything else, they're playing playoff teams. This whole week, every team that they played this week and every team that they're going to play next week, not only above 500, but most of them like 700 records. Jesus, it's been a rough stretch. And now, I'll point it out because I'm also sure you're aware of it, 2 of the biggest storylines from this week. Kobe passed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. And I say, Chris Rock put it best. Yeah, it took Kobe 19 years to do what what Jordan did in 15. But, so yeah, it's just a stat. Records were meant to be broken. It's a testament to how long he's played and how well he's played at a consistent level to play for this long. Then again, if you look at all the injuries he's had throughout his career, he might have done this a year or 2 earlier if it wasn't for all the times he was banged up and had to sit out. I mean, I can see both sides of the argument. But overall, the thing we can all agree on, Jordan is still a better player. And also, Rajon Rondo was traded to the Dallas Mavericks for like 3 nobodies and, draft picks. So, there you go. They were already in rebuilding mode, but now the Celtics, they're like officially just done with who they were before. Now everyone on the roster is completely new. Every time I look at it, I recognize 1 or 2 names. And now the Mavericks, many people are picking them as favorites in the West now, which I can't really argue with it. Rondo's a great point guard. He's an incredibly great defender. He's a skilled passer and with a lot of weapons to work with. I mean, this team looks even scarier, and they were already pretty scary. So now, Saturday, you got a couple of different games. First of all, the Blazers at the Pelicans. Obviously, I'm looking here at the battle of the big men. Anthony Davis versus LaMarcus Aldridge. They're both in the playoff hunt right now, and they're both playing fairly good basketball at the moment. Then you've also got the Rockets at the Hawks. Now, the Rockets, they seem to me like an easy pick. They're taller, they're stronger. I just feel like, but for some reason, the Hawks, they found a way to win. I mean, they keep finding ways to win. They're third in the Eastern Conference right now, last I checked. And then you've also got the Spurs at the Mavs, which, in all honesty, this game might be worth looking at if Rondo does actually play, just to see, how well they gel together. Possibly some fantastic passes and stuff. But, I mean, the Spurs, they had consecutive triple overtime games. We have no idea who's actually going to be in the lineup. Patty, Kawhi, and Tony are injured. Duncan and Manu, consecutive triple overtime games. Their old asses are going to be sitting. Pop's going to rest them. I mean, Danny and Diaw, they played Danny, he had almost 100 minutes in the last 2 games combined. I mean, I can't guarantee who will be in the lineup. I don't know what this game is going to look like. I'll probably end up watching it. I just don't know what it's going to look like. And then on Sunday, you got the Grizzlies at the Cavaliers, 2 early season favorites and to potentially win their conferences. And these teams are built almost opposite each other. The Cavs, they gathered most of their talent that they have right now. They picked it up just this offseason. While the Grizzlies, they've been relatively the same core people for like the past 5 years. And they've just been slowly adding one piece or another to strengthen what was already a good team. And now suddenly they're an amazing team that everyone's talking about. I mean, there's a lot of great individual matchups. I don't think Caleb's a good enough defender to shut down Zebo offensively. Then again, Zebo, he's not a defender at all. So Caleb can run crazy tonight. And then Conley, he's a good enough player offensively and defensively. He'll be Kyrie Irving's worst nightmare. I'm just saying. And Tony Allen's an underrated defender who should be seeing a lot of time on LeBron. So I look forward to that matchup. And then you've also got that same night the Pelicans at Thunder. And the Pelicans, they're in the playoff fight. But the Thunder are healthy again. And now they're quickly climbing back up into the standings. So, you've got some of the best young players in the game right now. Durant and Davis, you get a chance to see both of them play. And if they're healthy, they're going to be teammates at the All-Star game. That's a given. So, should be an exciting game to watch. Then on Monday, we got a lot of good-looking things. I'll try to breeze through this pretty quickly. Chicago at Toronto. Toronto has been the class of the East all season, but I feel like the Bulls are one of the most underrated teams in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people still don't consider them a legitimate playoff threat. At least they consider them a playoff threat, but not a legitimate title contender. But I think if they're 100% healthy, they've got a damn good shot at winning the entire Eastern Conference. And the first time that these two teams played, Chicago won that meeting. But that was in Toronto. That was in... my bad. I was going to say that was in Toronto, but right now it says Chicago at Toronto. I seem to have mixed these things up. So now I'm even more in favor of the Bulls pulling the upset because Chicago, they're a 500 team at home, but they've got a winning record on the road. So this is going to be a good contest. Then you've got the Blazers at the Rockets, the first meeting this season, and it'll be a show. You've got some explosive guards, some dominating big men, so it'll be a battle. You're Howard and Harden trying to outduel Lillard and Aldridge. And as of recording this, Houston half a game behind the Blazers for third in the West. Half a game for third. So this is the battle for third place. Then you got the Hawks at the Mavs. The Mavs will be on radar all week, so we can see how the Rondo deal is taking shape. The Hawks, look like a good chance for the Mavs to show us what they're made of. Because the Hawks, honestly, on paper, there's nothing about this team that scares me. But somehow, and I haven't been paying attention to them at all, but their record just keeps improving as the season goes along. So, I should start watching some of their games, see why they're so good. And then there's the Clippers at the Spurs, and the defending champs have lost 3 in a row, need to turn it around quickly, but it really doesn't get any easier. The Clippers may not be the best team in the West, but right now they've still got a better record than the Spurs, though at the same time, Clippers haven't necessarily been playing as many tough teams as the Spurs have. Just saying. And then you've got the Kings at the Warriors with Cousins back in the lineup. Bogut probably still going to be out. I want to see if Gay and Cousins can dominate the interior, control the post game, try to pull off the upset. And then on Tuesday, you've got the Cavs at the Wizards, 2 teams, each at the top of their division, in what should be a great showdown. You've also got the Clippers at the Hawks. As of right now, they have identical records, so it'll be fun to see how they match up. Blazers at Thunder. Durant and Westbrook are still trying to get their team in the playoffs, but the Blazers have been playing incredibly well lately, so this won't be an easy matchup for them. It's not going to be an easy win. Then you've got the Mavs at the Suns. Phoenix looked like playoff contenders early, but have settled back down into being a 500 team. However, they did grab a win the first time they played the Mavs this season, albeit that was before the Rondo trade, so we'll just see. Wednesday is Christmas Eve. There are no games. Spend time with your family. Get the kids into bed early. And then Thursday, Christmas Day. I'm not going to say a single game matchup that's being played because you know what? There's basketball on TV all day. It's one game after another. They're stacked so that there are really no breaks. Just turn on your TV and just watch all of them. Then on Friday, you've got the Rockets at Grizzlies. 2 great defensive teams in what will basically be a boxing match. Let's be honest. And you've also got the Spurs and Pelicans. And the Spurs have struggled lately, and the Pelicans did beat them in their first meeting. It was only by 1 point. So, I feel like both of these teams are going to kind of need that win by now. The Western Conference is a tough playoff race. So, that's it for this edition of NBA Weekly. Tune in next week for another all-new episode, probably. But I can't really guarantee it. It's going to be a weird week for me. So, but if I do, hopefully I do. So, This has been the Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a good weekend. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate.